Hello and welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith and we set off Season 6 today of this fantastically competitive championship, and we can't wait to see what is in store in the coming weeks and months. We have new teams and new drivers joining the grids. We have titles to defend, Felix Rosenqvist and Shane van Gisbergen coming in as the defending drivers' champions, and Onyx and Ducati as the defending teams' champions. They will be looking to go back-to-back in Season 6, but there are plenty out there who want to stop them. To begin with, let's have a look over the calendar for the coming season, and we start off today in Road America, the United States of America, kicking off the season here today. The Caribbean Grand Prix will be the second round at the Aruba Motorsports Complex. Curitiba in Brazil will be the third round, ahead of the Potrero de los Funes Grand Prix, the Argentinian circuit making its debut in the Grand Prix World Series this season. The Grand Prix of the Americas is a new addition to the calendar, and this is a track that was voted for by the managers to fill in this slot. So the Grand Prix of the Americas will be held at Sebring for round 5 of the championship. Then we head over to Europe, and Dijon-Bourgogne will host round 6 ahead of the Ricardo Tormo Grand Prix, the Valencian circuit making its first race this season. Marrakesh in Morocco will be round 8 ahead of Donington, taking over from Rockingham as the British round of the season. Hockenheim in Germany will return to the Forest layout for round 10, and then we head to Anderstorp in Sweden, and then the Grand Prix of Europe, which this season, once again voted by the managers, will be held at Mugello in Italy. We then go to Asia for Hanoi in Vietnam, making its debut in the Grand Prix World Series. Sepang in Malaysia will return for round 14 ahead of Buriram in Thailand, which hosted the season finale last season. The Grand Prix of Asia will be Motegi in Japan, before we then go to Phillip Island and Manawatu in Australia and New Zealand respectively to see out the season. And once again, the top 13 teams across both leagues will qualify for the end of season Macau Grand Prix and fight it out for the honour of victory in that event. So with it coming into a new season, we have some new teams and we have some new drivers, but who will be driving where? We had the driver draft during the off-season, which has shaken up the roster of drivers for this season. Drivers have switched teams, some have stayed where they are. But to have an overview of all the teams, first of all starting with League 2, Tom Cairns is going to run you through who is going to be on the grid this season.
The Grand Prix World Series kicks off with the League 2 field. 40 have hired last season's League 1 champion Felix Rosenqvist, who is going to replicate his success with Dave Goddard's team. The Swede is tied up with Italian Antonio Giovinazzi, who had last featured in Season 4 for Minardi. Zhou Guanyu is signed on as reserve. An overhaul at Chris Hosey's Sax Speed squad sees an all-rookie lineup. Czech Republic's Filip Salaquada and Netherlands' Stef Dusseldorp embrace a new challenge ahead. Waiting in the wings is GT driver Jens Richter. Mazda retained Sho Zuboi, while team boss David Yunt gambles on 3-time race winner Scott McLaughlin. Former Onyx driver Lawrence Vantol fills in as backup. An unlikely scenario sees Earl Bamber and Joseph Newgarden link up as teammates for a third consecutive season at a third different team of Chip Ganassi. Kieran McGinley prepares for his first full season as a Grand Prix Series team manager. After his heroics for Kieran's Japanese team in the Nations Cup, Naoki Yamamoto is chosen as the reserve driver. Iron Danes maintain their all-women pairing at the hands of Jake Sanson. 2025 F1 Academy champion Dorian Pan stays on, while Jamie Chadwick returns after her troublesome time at Lola last season. 24-year-old Lilu Wadu signs on as third driver. Toyota finished rock bottom last season, but will team boss Michael Gillespie gamble on pace instead of reliability and finally land him some silverware? Nick de Vries hopes so after a difficult campaign in Season 5 with the Japanese team. Ryo Hirakawa moves from Minardi to join the Dutchman, while highly regarded young hopeful Freddie Slater awaits his chance. Ram aim for an immediate return to League 1 following a barren run of form throughout the majority of last season. Igor Fraga stays, with Pato Award moving across from Carlin. NASCAR Cup Series pilot Connor Silich looks to bring some American flair to Ross McGregor's team further down the line. Prema will also be targeting an instant response to their relegation from the top flight. Race winners Yi Yiffy and Mick Schumacher are chosen for the task. Tomoki Nijiri sticks around within the Italian squad as reserve. Simtek prepare for new life in League 2 after 5 seasons at the top level. New manager James Knox decides on an all-British driver pairing of Luke Browning and Dan Ticktum. Ireland's Fionn McLaughlin joins as backup. And so to the new teams. Opel are first up with Topher Smith joining as team manager following 3 seasons as Arrow's boss, leading them to the driver's title in League One. Could Mitch Evans and Nick Cassidy be the ones to send the German outfit towards promotion? Former Andretti driver Linus Lundqvist is taken on as reserve. Bimota becomes Lucy Bussendale's 4th different team in as many seasons and has opted to go with youth. Gabriele Mini comes in with 4 races under his belt with Minardi, while rookie Ayumu Iwasa is relishing the opportunity. One-time starter René Rast is hopeful he lands a full-time drive soon. Dutch manufacturer Spiker have joined the grid, courtesy of Ben Hackerson. Colton Herter and Roman Grosjean are positive the team can punch above their weight and be the ones to look out for this season. Spiker's reserve driver is Rinus VK. Last but not least, M Sport come from a different background compared to most, but will their versatility be enough to propel them to a front-running competitor? 2025 Formula 2 champion Leo Fornaroli embarks on his first full season, while Sebastian Ogier is back after nearly 3 seasons on the sidelines. Charles Malaysi remains patient for his chance, filling in as Lorenzo Turi's reserve driver.
Thank you very much, Tom. So those are your drivers and teams for League 2 this season. But how have they got on for the season opener in qualifying? We can have a quick look to see what our first grid of the season is. And on pole position, it is Nick De Vries in the Toyota. Mike Gillespie's team getting its first ever pole position in the Grand Prix World Series, and Mike Gillespie looking for his first victory as a team manager. The other Toyota of Ryo Hirakawa helped the team lock out both practice sessions, but Colton Herter in the Spiker split the two in qualifying and will line up on the front row alongside De Vries. Hirakawa third in the second Toyota ahead of Roman Grosjean, the new team on the grid, putting both of their cars into the top 4. Pato Ward in the Ram is 5th ahead of Dan Ticktum in the Simtech, lining up 6th on his return to the Grand Prix World Series. A good job by him. Felix Rosenqvist, defending champion now in League 2 this season. He will start 7th in the 40 Corsa ahead of Luke Browning in the second Simtech. And then the 2 Chip Ganassis of Joseph Newgarden and Earl Bamber starting yet another season as teammates, but with a different team this time around. Antonio Giovinazzi, 11th in the second 40 Corsa ahead of Dorian Pan in the Iron Dames. Ayumu Iwasa for his debut today, the Bimota KRT team for their first race also. He lines up 13th today, ahead of the 2 Premers of Yeyefe and Mick Schumacher. Nick Cassidy in the Opel will start 16th ahead of Gabriele Mini, starting his first full-time campaign today. Igor Fraga stays on with the Ram team and he lines up 18th, ahead of a returning Sebastian Ogier, who hasn't raced for a few seasons. He's in the new M Sport team and he will start 19th today ahead of Scott McLaughlin in the Mazda. And at the back, Jamie Chadwick, Leonardo Fornaroli, Sho Suboy, the 2 Zaxby's of Steph Dusseldorf and Philippe Salaquada, and Mitch Evans starting with a back of the grid penalty, which he picked up at Hockenheim last season, and this is the first time he's been able to serve that back of the grid penalty. So Nick De Vries, our first pole sitter of the season, will he become our first race winner of the season? There's only one way to find out. Let's head down to the grid and get this race underway. Tom Cairns is back in the commentary box again this season, and he's looking forward to getting this underway. So Tom, let's hand it over to you and let's get this season started.
New drivers, new teams, new managers and new circuits, one of which kickstarts the 6th edition of the Grand Prix Series here at Road America. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go! It's a brilliant start from the 2 Toyota cars. Nick De Vries in particular has got away well from pole position, ahead of Ryo Hirakawa, who's leapt up into 2nd place, ahead of Colton Herter by the time they get to turn 1. So De Vries takes the lead ahead of his Japanese teammate, and we've already got a retirement. It's Sebastian Ogier on his return to the Grand Prix Series. It looks like he's been taken out at the start on the straight. I don't know who ran into him, but he hasn't even got past the first 100 metres of this racetrack. So not a good start for the new M Sport team. one of 4 new teams competing in the Grand Prix Series this season. And so far, he's only made it past some of the grid spots. Back at the front as we look at Ryo Hirakawa attacking De Vries on the inside past the Moraine sweep. And it's Hirakawa who takes over leadership ahead of De Vries. Colton Herter in 3rd place for Spiker, another one of the new teams on the grid. And it's his teammate Roman Grosjean in 4th place. Behind them is Dan Ticktum in 5th place for Simtek. And it's Pato Ward in 6th for the Ram team as we watch Sho Zuboy go through the likes of turns 5 and 6. And he's got no front wing to his wagon actually, as Sho Zuboy. So his 2nd season for Mazda has not got off to a good start. And now we go back towards the front of the field. That's De Vries going back on the inside of Hirakawa at Canada corner. And De Vries is back ahead. So the lead changes twice between those two. 1 and 2 for Mike Gillespie's team, who are aiming for bigger things this season compared to the previous. And that one is about to reach its conclusion with De Vries in the lead, with Hirakawa in 2nd place as we look at Grosjean under attack from the Simtek of Dan Ticktum heading towards turn number 1. And Ticktum just not quite alongside enough to make his move. And he's having to settle back in behind. Ticktum back in the Grand Prix Series after a long time out. And Simtek, who have a new team manager at the helms, aiming for an immediate return to League One after a disastrous season in the last campaign. And there goes El Bamba in the Chip Ganassi past Pato Award for 6th position. So one of the home heroes making his move. And the rider Ryo Hirakawa, who previously raced for Minardi last season, took 2 victories on the way, coming in Jerez and Kyalami. This is a new challenge for Hirakawa, taken on by Mike Gillespie to finally see whether he's got what it takes to win in the Grand Prix Series, despite the fact that Mike has been around for as long as season 3, when he was a Super Aguri manager, then he switched allegiances to Midland. Sorry, not Midland, he was the Tolman manager in season 4. Last season it was Toyota, and he remains the Toyota team manager this time around. We saw an overtake from Ticktum getting by Grosjean at Canada corner, and so the Brit is up into 4th place. De Vries with the fast stop of the race. It is early days at the moment. Whatever happens, De Vries will keep the point for the pole position earlier. He now has the fastest lap to his name. It's a long way to go in this. And there's Ticktum on the inside of Colton Herter. No way through at the moment. Ticktum is continuing to go at it with the Spiker up ahead. On the inside this time, has he done it? He has done. So Ticktum up into 3rd place. The man is on a charge. Can he go after the 2 Toyotas? And we'll take the opportunity to run down on the setups for each of the teams in League 2. 40 have gone for mid-top speed, Zack Speed mid-downforce, Mazda and Chip Ganassi mid-top speed, Iron Dames neutral, Toyota mid-top speed, Ram have gone for maximum top speed, Prima neutral, Simtek mid-top speed, Opel neutral, Bimota mid-top speed, Spiker maximum top speed, and M-Sport mid-top speed. Some Dyson further on around the field there. That's a Yumi Iwasa running in 14th position behind the Ram of Igor Fraga, who's determined to get Ram back into League 1 again. Ram are on a run of 1 point score in the last 12 races, championship races that is, that they've competed in. That's a pass there for one of the Rams who just went through. Oh, and that's the car off in turn 1. That's Antonio Giovinazzi, who's lost a huge part of his front wing. The 40 driver has gone for an excursion on lap number 4. He was actually tussling with his teammate Felix Rosenquist the reigning League 1 Drivers' Champion, the reigning Grand Prix Series Champion, going side by side, and Giovinazzi had gone off the circuit, and that's going to leave him with a lot of work to do and a long way back to the pit lane from here. Now we look at Dorian Pan, racing again for IM Dames this season. Jake Sensen at the helm once more. No way through yet for the French driver. And here we go, pulling away from the rest of the field as Newgarden overtakes Felix Rosenquist for 9th position. So there's 2 Chip Ganassis in the top 9, which will please Kieran McGinley, the team manager, who's embracing his first full season as a Grand Prix Series team manager. And then we look at Yifi in the Premier, switching from Lancia last season, where he'd been unlucky, to be honest with you, failing to make it to the end on 11 occasions. And there goes Mitch Evans, who is competing in his first race since Hockenheim, where he was dropped by Ducati. He had to serve a grid penalty for his part in the incident with Jamie Chadwick, which saw Chadwick retire. He's coming through the field nicely though, and he's into 15th place. At the bottom, Sebastian Ogier is the only retirement so far. Shosu by running in 25th position. He might move up a place because Giovinazzi has had to come in for a new nose section. So Ward in 8th, going after Luke Browning, who's competing in the Simtech for the first time since season 3. Scott Woodwis was the manager. So the 4 teams competing for the first time in the Grand Prix Series are Opel, Bimota, Spiker and M-Sport. Now, just saw an overtake. I think that was Luke Browning getting back through on Pato Award for 7th position, so a good dice going on that part of the field. Yifi, meanwhile, is chasing after the other Ram of Igor Fraga, and that's an engine failure for Leo Fornaroli, and it's the end of M Sport's first race in the Grand Prix Series, and it's not the start that team manager Lorenzo Turi would have wanted. Ogier went out at the start. Fornaroli retires on lap number 5. Now, as well as what we saw in qualifying involving the field, they did have a couple of practice sessions which... and as I say that, Pan is off. She's gone off a long way, and that's over at turn number 3, that is, the second braking zone of this Road America circuit. Oh, she came together with one of the Chip Ganassis, and that was Joseph Newgarden that she ran into. So down towards the right-hander. Now, did Newgarden already have damage from the corner before? I'd be interested to know whether he's actually sustained some damage from running wide at turn 1. Probably not, but Pan has got a lot of work to do here. That'll be her back into the pit lane, and her race strategy is heavily compromised. Mitch Evans is off the circuit, this time in the Opel, who are managed by Topher Smith this season. Did he get tapped? Oh, he did. He got punted off the circuit by one of the Mazdas. That must have been Scott McLaughlin, who he collided with. Kiwi up the inside and punted his compatriot off the track. And I think that McLaughlin is going to be hit with some form of punishment. Evans rejoins the circuit, and front wing damage as well on the Opel to add insult to injury. Race Control's verdict is that Scott McLaughlin is given a 30-second time penalty and a 5-place grid drop for the next race. He's also been awarded 4 penalty points. And Joseph Newgarden is slowing in the Chip Ganassi. It did look like he had some form of issue earlier on in the lap, and it's become apparent now it's a throttle issue for Newgarden, and it's the end of the day's work for him at home. You just see that's Dorian Pan going through, and the same for Mitch Evans. So McLaughlin is the first driver in the Grand Prix Series to be awarded penalty points. Now, instead of instant disqualifications and race bans, drivers are given time penalties, grid drops and penalty points. Now, instead of giving back of the grid drops, they can be awarded 5-place grid penalties or 10-place grid penalties, depending on the severity of the offence. So just to basically run down what those are. So if a driver forces another driver wide without contact, it's a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point. If a driver rejoins the circuit into the path of another driver, causing avoidable action, it's also a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point. If a driver rejoins the track into the path of another driver and causes a collision, it's a 10-second time penalty and 2 penalty points. If a driver forces another driver off the track without contact, it's a 10-second time penalty and 2 penalty points. If a driver collides with another driver and takes an advantage, it's a 10-second time penalty and 2 penalty points. If a driver collides with another driver and forces them off the circuit, I'll come back to that in a moment because someone has blown up at the beginning of that. It's El Bamba. That's the second Chip Ganassi out of the race. And Kieran McGinley is going to have his head in his hands. It's not the start to his season that he had hoped for. It's the end of the race for Bamba, and he is gone. That's 2 Chip Ganassis and 2 M Sports out of the League 2 Road America Grand Prix. Dan sits him in 3rd place in the Simter. Go back to what I was saying about the regulations. If a driver collides with another driver and forces them off the circuit, it's a 10-second time penalty, 5-place grid drop at the next race, and 3 penalty points. If a driver collides with another driver and causes damage to that car, resulting in an unforced pit stop for repairs, or resulting in an enforced pit stop for repairs, it's a 30-second time penalty, a 5-place grid drop at the next race, and 4 penalty points. And Tony Giovinazzi won't have to worry about picking up any penalty points in this one, because his 40 has decided to give up the ghost here. He's only made it as far as lap number 8, and it's his race done. One last thing on the regulations in terms of collisions. If a driver collides with another driver and causes them to retire, and this is the big one, it's a 30-second time penalty, a 10-place grid penalty at the next race, and 6 penalty points. If a driver accumulates 12 penalty points over the course of a calendar year, in inverted commas, when I say in calendar year, if let's say a driver has been given penalty points, or let's just say he's been given 1 penalty point after round number 3 of this season, that penalty point doesn't expire, or won't expire, until the end of round 2 of the following season. So they can still carry penalty points into the next season. And I have to say, that was Rio Hirakawa. Judging by the way he came into the pit lane there, it almost looked like he was about to come to a slowdown. But in actual fact, he's coming for his first stop. So the first of the scheduled pit stops have arrived. Hirakawa is in. The same for Dan Tixon. Looks like one of the Premiers. Is that one of the Premiers going into the pit lane? It's hard to tell from that angle. It's Yiffy, yes, so it's one of the Premiers going in. Yiffy enters the pit lane. And off goes Iwasa at turn 1. Front wing damage to his car. And we're going to get a replay as to how he's supposed to do that, because that's a really costly error there from the Japanese driver. Not a good sight there for Bimota in their maiden race in the Grand Prix Series. De Vries carrying on his way in the lead. His teammate Rio Hirakawa rejoining 14th behind one of the debutants this season. That is Philip Salaquada, competing for sack speed under the eyes of Chris Hosey. Here goes Gabriele Mini on Scott McLaughlin for 8th position. There we see Cassidy having it out with his compatriot. I have to say, the Opel looks splendid, actually. In terms of livery, that is. Roman Grosjean comes in for Spiker, who are embarking on their Grand Prix Series debut, aiming for a positive result. Could they be one of those going for promotion? Ooh, Iwasa, who's yet to come into the pit lane. He's just pulled out of the way of Rio Hirakawa, who is behind him. And here goes Cassidy on McLaughlin. That was so close to being contact, but he survives. And there goes Titsum having it out with Hirakawa, and he can't make the move stick either. Well, lap number 11 out of 36. De Vries leads, but he is yet to stop. Now, some drivers may be doing the 2-stop, others will be doing the 1. Was it that who joins behind Mitch Evans in 20th position? Only Sho Zuboy is behind him now. Pato Ward in the Ram chasing after Colton Herter. There is Dan Titsum on the tail of Philip Salaquada. There is Sho Zuboy locking up, aiming just to salvage, from his point of view, maybe a championship point, depending on how this race plays out. Nick De Vries pits in from the lead 2 laps after Rio Hirakawa, which will hand the lead to Colton Herter. Spiker will lead a Grand Prix Series race for the first time at their first attempt. Not every day that you hear that. So where will De Vries come out in comparison to Rio Hirakawa? I think Hirakawa on the fresher tyres, and the fact he's going at a speed, is still behind him. So it must be very, very close between the 2 Toyotas. Salaquada is in the pit lane. Coming back out in a moment. He'll be outside the top 15 when he rejoins. But there's your new race leader, Colton Herter for Spiker, Dutch manufacturer. He competed in Formula 1 back in 2007. Most notable for Marcus Winkelhock's cameo appearance at the Nürburgring, where he briefly led the race in the treacherous conditions until the red flag. Came away with nothing on the day. Spiker did get one championship point that season. That came at the hands of Adrian Sutil at Fuji, where he finished in 8th position. That was back when the top 8 were given points instead of top 10. Grosjean passes Mick Schumacher. Turn to Prix. Oh, he locked up behind the Mazda. Nearly ran into him. And Hirakawa was the same there when he was going past the Opel. De Vries and Hirakawa are up to 4th and 5th. I wonder if Frago and Rosenquist may be doing the one stop. Right on board there with Felix Rosenquist, who's the only 40 left in the race now. And engine failure for Igumu Iwasa for the Bimota team. We're going to see one of their drivers pull out of this, and it's an engine fire now for the Japanese. And Lucy Bassendale's starts of the season is not going to go off to the best of starts here. Gabriel Imani is still going in this race in 12th position. But Iwasa won't be going much further. He'll be the 6th driver to pull out of this race on lap number 13. We've got new team managers in the Grand Prix Series this season. We've got James Knox, who's in charge of Simtech. We've also got Lorenzo Turi, who we mentioned earlier, in charge of M Sport, who got both of their cars out of this race now. I mentioned Kieran McKinley, who's in his first full season as a Grand Prix Series team manager. We've also got Matteo Vitelloli, who's the boss over at BAR these days. Joel Sherwood was going to be the team manager this season before he had to pull out. And Nick de Vries, not too long ago actually, he just got by Felix Rosenquist for position, so he's up into 2nd place now. I don't think it's going to be too long before Ryo Hirakawa follows suit. Hirakawa is going through on the inside. This is over at the left-hander of turn number 8 before the carousel. Now, if Hertz is on the one stop now, which I think he's committed to doing so, he'll ideally want to be ahead of the Toyotas, both of them, before he comes in. But going by the rate at which these Toyota cars are getting the gap down, it's going to be mightily difficult for Hertz to hold on. The Toyotas dominated the weekend. First and second in FP1 and 2. And it's the end of the road for Luke Browning on his return to Simtech. Not the start to the season he had been looking for, Luke Browning. That's another one gone from this one. And that's retirement number 7 of the race. Down to 19 runners. Got award through on the inside of Mick Schumacher. That's over at turn number 3 before they go down towards the Moraine Sweep. And Grosjean is off the circuit in the Spiker. Sure, he's going to sustain damage. He has done. What a shame for Romain Grosjean there. He's already pitted as well. And now he's going to have to do all that hard work again. There's Hirakawa chasing down Nick de Vries. He's got the gap down to her to 3.1 seconds. Hertz will be over the line in the lead still, but I reckon De Vries will be ahead of him before the end of the next lap. The gap is now down to 1.9. Your race order. Colton Hertz leads, and it's Nick De Vries second, Ria Hirakawa third, Dan Tixon fourth in the Simtek, then it's Felix Rosenquist in the 40 in fifth place. Grosjean comes back into the pit lane, which promotes Pato Ward up to sixth place, Yu Yuffie seventh, Mick Schumacher eighth, Gabrielini is in ninth, and in 10th position is Jamie Chadwick in the IM Dames. Yuffie in P7, behind the Ram of Pato Ward. Ram and Prema were two of those that came down from League 1 last season, aiming for an immediate return. And now Hertz is under attack here, coming out of the carousel. He's not going to have any form of defence here, I don't think. Although he's able to hold off De Vries before the penalty corner. I think De Vries, before too long, will be on the gearbox of him. He won't want to sit behind him for too long because he's got Ria Hirakawa closing him down as well. Out of the last corner they come. There goes Mitch Evans through on Dorian Pan for position. And here is De Vries. Has he got the straight line speed to head on through? Not quite yet. He keeps ducking in and about out the slipstream on Hertz there, so he's not quite through just yet. Say Hertz is doing a brilliant job holding it up, but I think De Vries has got him this time here at turn number 3, and through goes De Vries into the lead of the Lead 2 Road America Grand Prix. Felix Rosenquist running in 5th place has yet to stop in this. He's been chased down by Pato Ward and Yu Yuffie. Mick Schumacher's raced for the Lola team in the past. He's embarking on a new challenge for Prema, in which he won his Formula 3 Europe and Formula 2 championships with during his junior days. Ria Hirakawa has passed Colton Hertz for second position. So now Hertz's next job is just to hold up Dan Tixon, I think. Grosjean locks up again, goes off the circuit, and doesn't take any more damage there. He's down in 18th place, is Grosjean, after his second trip to the pit lane before half race distance. We look at the sack speed of Steph Dusseldorp. He's one of 5 drivers throughout the whole Grand Prix Series grid to be competing their debut today. Ward on the inside of Felix Rosenquist towards turn 1. He's through at last. There is the Ram. De Vries continuing on ahead of Hirakawa. Dusseldorp running in 11th place, overtaking Mick Schumacher, Igor Fraga and Scott McLaughlin are the next drivers behind. And engine failure for the race leader, Nick De Vries. He's going to be pulling out of the first race of the season. How much of a worry will that be for his teammate later on? Nick De Vries retires from the League 2 Road America Grand Prix. And his teammate Ria Hirakawa will go into the lead. Unless De Vries can get that back to the pit lane. He's past pit entry. It's game over for the Dutchman. And it looks like Colton Hertz is making his way into the pit lane at the same time now at the end of lap 18. also got Felix Rosenqvist in the pit lane for 40. Dan Tixon will go up into second place in a moment. De Vries hasn't got off the circuit yet. And he's going to pull off at turn number 8 here is Nick De Vries. What a shame. At least he's got the pole position point. And it's likely to keep holding the fast lap point, so at least his season will be up and running with that. But it's an engine failure that sees Nick De Vries retire. Right on board with sole surviving Toyota of Ryo Hirakawa. As well as Minardi, he's also won for Carlin at the Nürburgring in Season 4. Hirakawa's lead over Tixon is 5 seconds. Colton Hertz is wasting no time passing Philip Salaquada. Mick Schumacher will be the next driver for Hertz to get by. Don't think it'll be too long before he does that. Hertz heading on bypass Mick Schumacher at turn 3, and the Spiker is wasting no time. It's an encouraging start for the Spiker team boss Ben Hackerson, who was the Simtech team manager at the back end of last season before their relegation. Dorian Pan is under attack here from Felix Rosenqvist, who will be on fresher tyres. The Swede heads on through. And Ward is slowly but surely closing in on Dan Tixon. So it's Toyota leading Simsa, leading Ram, leading Prema. And then it is Gabriel Mini's Bemota up in 5th place. James Chadwick in the Iron Danes is in 6th place. Then we've got Scott McLaughlin's Mazda in 7th. Igor Fraga in 8th in the 2nd Ram. And then we've got Steph Dusseldorp in 9th in the Sax Speed. As we see Felix Rosenqvist passing Mitch Evans for 15th place. Running out the top 10 is Nick Cassidy. Again this season, this time in the Opel. Mick Schumacher's made his way into the pit lane for his one and only stop. Grosjean is in for the 3rd time, and Oward is off the circuit in the Ram. That was over at turn 5 and luckily survives that. His chances of going after Dan Tixon are pretty much gone. So we'll have to see reacts to that from here. We see Ryo Hirakawa approaching the end of lap 21, just 15 laps to go for him. Dan Tixon doing a fine job. Now we've got a pit stop over at Toyota. And it is Ryo Hirakawa coming in for his 2nd and final stop. Hands the lead over to the Brits and Tixon. Yearfeet in the Prema. also coming in, likewise for Jamie Chadwick. It looks, oh, that was so close to contact there between Hirakawa and Dusseldorp. And Herta, who was chasing after Hirakawa, because if you remember, he came in for his one and only stop whilst Nick de Vries was retiring, and the gap between Herta and Hirakawa is actually a lot less now. So it's a good job that Hirakawa got out in front there, in front of Herta, otherwise he'd have had more of a job on his hands to get by him and to ensure he's got the margin over Ticton by the time Ticton has done his final stop. How far will he go before he decides to come into the pit lane? Well, he's coming in now, is Ticton. Right aboard with Scott McLaughlin, who's got Igor Fraga right behind him, and also the net race leader, Ria Hirakawa. I would expect Hirakawa to be on the tail of these. Well, I say that, McLaughlin is now being passed by Igor Fraga. He tries to do the switchback before turn 1, but no way through that. Ticton comes out in 6th position ahead of Seliquada, and there goes McLaughlin into the lead past Igor Fraga, so the lead changes hands there again between the top two. It's McLaughlin who leads, and Hirakawa is determined to get back into the lead and not be held up behind these who are due into the pits again. Through goes Hirakawa on O'Ward, or Fraga, sorry. And Herta, I want to make sure he gets through around about the same time. Hirakawa looking to the outside there, no way through towards turn 8. So he's going to have to go by McLaughlin here on the exit of Carousel. There goes the Toyota on the Mazda. Doesn't quite do it then. Herta couldn't do it with O'Ward either, with Fraga, sorry. And all of this is helping Ticton in his pursuit. There goes Grosjean past. That was one of the Saxbys going by. It was Steph Dusseldorp. O'Ward has passed Rosenquist, 4th position. And there goes Hirakawa on McLaughlin. Fraga came into the pit lane, and Hirakawa is into the lead again. Will he have the reliability at the end of this one? We shall see. Herta will hope not from him. Chases after McLaughlin 4th position now. Is he close enough in the slipstream to go on through? Not quite that time around. And out goes Mick Schumacher. His Prema is on fire at turn number 1. There's a terrible shame there for Alex Johnston. Far end to mixed race. Will Prema mount a title charge in League 2? And an immediate return to League 1. Herta is still stuck behind McLaughlin here. This is not helping his chances, and Ticton is closing in all the time. Now, will McLaughlin pit in at the end of this lap? The answer is yes. And that has held Herta up, and Ticton is right on the tail of him. Herta, with the straight line speed, is able to hold Ticton back for now. So the top 3 are those realistically in the positions that they are in. Rosenquist on the one stop is up in 4th place. As Tixon came close to passing Herta there at turn number 3. We might be able to go through this time around. At the inside at turn number 5. Through goes Tixon on Herta. And that's the Brit through. Great move there from Dan Tixon. Up into 2nd place he goes. And Herta's going to have to settle for 3rd. With the way this race is going. Herta's teammate Roman Grosjean is back in the points. In 10th place after pitting 3 times. Exits the last one, and can he go after Hirakawa for the lead? He's got over 4 seconds to make up on him. And given the rate at which Hirakawa is going in this one and the pace advantage, although Tix is going to get down to 4.2 seconds, so we shall see. There might only be 11 laps left, but these are quite long laps around this Road America course. 6.4 kilometres long. It's the 2nd longest of all those on the Grand Prix Series calendar this season. This season, Grand Prix Series, we're going to Road America, followed by Aruba in the Caribbean. We weren't meant to be going to Westwood in Canada, but for reasons out of the RRML's control, Aruba in the Caribbean was the better option. It's off to Curitiba, Brazil, Patrono de los Funes in Argentina. We then return to Road America. And just before I say that, we've got drama. The 2nd Toyota is out of the race. Ryu Hirakawa comes to a slowdown. Dan Tixon leads the lead to Road America Grand Prix. Neither of the Toyotas are going to make it to the checkered flag after starting 1st and 3rd on the grid. Art Simtek going to take victory. As we see McLaughlin go off the circuit in the Mazda, spinning around at Canada Corner. And that sees him drop out of the points. It's not been a good day for the Mazda team or for David Young. McLaughlin rejoins in 14th position ahead of his teammate. Now, last time Simtek scored points in the Grand Prix Series was at La Plata in Argentina last season in round 3. They've gone 15 races since then without scoring. The team's last victory came with Scott Dixon in Curitiba in season 3. So Dixon leads, Herta is 2nd. Rosenquist in the 4th is in 3rd place, Yifei in the Primo is 4th, and it's Gabriele Mini in the Bimota in 5th place. Jamie Chadwick 6th, Igor Fraga 7th, Roman Grosjean has made it back up into 8th place, Nick Cassidy is 9th, and Pato Ward in the final points paying position in 10th. Look at Mitch Evans, he's doing his utmost to keep Opel on track for their first points. Cassidy's running up there in 9th for Topher Smith's team, so it looks like they're going to be picking up something from this. So we've got Simtek leading. And then we look at Cassidy on the tail of Roman Grosjean, 4th position. Now Cassidy going up the inside at the 2nd braking zone. Grosjean couldn't quite hold him off that time around, and the Kiwi is passed into 8th place. Grosjean's fighting back though, and with the straight line speed, he's able to go on by again. Interesting battle stirring up between those two. It's the last quarter of this season opener in League 2 at Road America. One of 8 new circuits this season in the GPWS. We've seen a brilliant race so far, and there's still more to come. There's the League 1 race to come later. For those of you who are new to the Grand Prix Series, the top 3 teams in League 2 at the end of the season will be promoted to League 1. And in contrast, the bottom 3 teams in League 1 will go down to League 2. Yiffy on the tail of the 40 of Felix Rosenqvist. Coming out of turn 1. Mini isn't too far behind these two. And whilst the battle for the win is pretty much out of the question, for the final podium position is still very much up for grabs. And there goes Yiffy passing Felix Rosenqvist for 3rd position. A great pass there from the Prema driver. Now on their return to League 2, are Prema going to get one car on the podium? Well, Herta most certainly isn't, because he has just gone off the circuit in the Spiker. Unbelievable luck for Ben Hackerson. He launched off very lucky, didn't lose any of the tyres actually. Otherwise that would have been game over. And that's going to allow Yiffy to move into 2nd position and Felix Rosenqvist back into the top 3. I'll probably say Herta's going to fall out of the points. There's Yiffy going to the outside. Oh, that's very nearly contact at the last corner between the Prema and the Spiker. Herta makes it back to the pit lane, and what will Ben Hackerson be thinking after that? And Gabriel Mini has got a chance to put a Bimota on the podium on debut. Is he through on Rosenqvist at turn 1? He's not quite there. And now the Iron Danes of Jamie Chadwick is closing them down. Mini passes Rosenqvist for 3rd place. Now, is Chadwick going to be close enough to attempt to go back through? Remember, Mini is on fresher tyres compared to Rosenqvist. Fraga up to 6th now, Grosjean into 7th, Cassidy 8th, Owald 9th, and Evans has managed to put both of the Opals inside the top 10 here. Cassidy still having it out with Grosjean at turn number 5, and he goes by there. A good overtake, and O'Ward is also closing in. Yiffy is 19 seconds off the lead of Dan Tickton. He looks to be on his way to his first ever Grand Prix Series win. Last season, Jamie Chadwick took her first Grand Prix Series win in Aruba at the season opener. goes Rosenquist. It's Jamie Chadwick, who is the next driver, potentially to go and buy the 40 here. She doesn't do it at turn 1. The Iron Days doesn't quite have the straight line speed. If she could just remain in the slipstream though, she should be able to get him into turn 3. She goes on by there, look. Chadwick overtakes Rosenquist, and she's up into 4th position. O'Ward sends Grosjean further down the order. Herta is in 13th place behind Dorian Pan. Should be able to get Pan in a moment. He's just 1 second behind her at the beginning of the lap. There is Herta passing Pan 4 position up into 12th place. He might just get back into the points before this race is over. Colton Herta. Gabriele Mini. Score points for Minardi. At Fuji last season, when he substituted for Ria Hirakawa. He's chasing after Yiafit for 2nd place. It's Simtek leading Prema, leading Bemota. Philip Salaquada is 1 position away from a point scoring position, but he's got Colton Herta breathing him down very, very quickly. Herta's now just 1.5 seconds off him. He's now less than 8 tenths behind with 5 laps remaining. Igor Fraga in the Ram is behind Rosenquist, and he passes Rosenquist. Rosenquist shouldn't really lose any more positions from here. It's got enough in hand over Nick Cassidy. Herta has passed Salaquada for P11. Tixon is 21 seconds clear over Yiafit. Started the race from 6th on the grid. What a fine start to the season this will be for James Knox in his first Grand Prix World Series race as a team manager. Oh, well I say that, Tim's car is up in smoke. 4 laps from the end. Another race leader goes from this here in Road America. Both of the Simtex are not going to be scoring here. Could we see Prema take victory? They already did so a couple of seasons back when Louis Foster won in Phillip Island. But Tixon goes no further. 4 laps from the end, he is out. Yiafit leads, but he's got Gabriele Mini right on his tail. There they are, look. Art Bemota going to take victory on their Grand Prix World Series debut. Lucy Bassendale has never tasted victory in the Grand Prix World Series before, despite managing Andrea Moda, Coloni and Ford previously. Now he's right in the wheel tracks here, off the Prema here. And Jamie Chadwick is up into 3rd place for Iron Dames. Are they going to pick up a podium for the first time? Well, there he's going with the Mini. He's going for it now on Yiafit here at turn 1. Is he through on the inside? He's done it! Gabriele Mini leads the League 2 Road America Grand Prix. Promoter are 3 laps away from victory on debut. Brilliant stuff. Jamie Chadwick is also under attack from Igor Fraga, so the battle for the final podium position is also far from over. He's past Chadwick. Fraga up into 3rd place for Ram, who are on course for a podium position. And Yiafi staying in touch with Mini in case something happens to the promoter. And whilst we've been talking all of that, Herta has got back into the points and is into 8th place ahead of his teammate. And he's not done yet. "15 drivers left in this race now. Zhou Zuboi is in 15th and last position. What a race we've been treated to here at Road America. It's the kind of start to the season we've been waiting for. Salaquada passes Evans to move up into the points for Sat Speed. Is he on course for a point on his maiden appearance? It looks that way, doesn't it? And Fraga, who is pulling away from Chadwick, is doing his utmost to close in on Yiafi. But time is running out. It's got less than 12 kilometres between now and the checker flag to do something about the Prema ahead. We'll go back to McLaughlin, who is coming to a slowdown this time, and his race is unfortunately going to come to a close just before the checker flag. What a shame for the Kiwi. It's been a low-key race for him anyway, and it's got even worse. Front suspension failure pulls him out. And Herta passes O'Ward for P7 now. Up to P7 goes Colton Herta. He's got 3 seconds to make up on Nick Cassidy. That's going to be a tall order for him, even on fresher tyres. Fraga running in P3. He's 3 seconds off Yiafi. And Nick Cassidy in the Opel is out. Running in 6th position. He's also up in smoke. Herta just avoided him. It's a terrible shame for Nick Cassidy in Opel's first race. At least that puts Mitch Evans back into the points. So Opel potentially are not going to come away from here empty-handed. Last lap of the race, Gabriele Mini and Promoter are on their way to their first win in the Grand Prix Series. Second place, Yiafi for Prema, and Igor Fraga, without any more dramas from him, is on course to get Ram up and running for the season. And this is going to be a pleasing sight for Lucy Bassendale. After serving as the Andrea Moda team manager, the Coloni team manager and the Ford team manager, has never tasted this kind of experience before. He's tasted podiums before, but not the top one. Just a few more kilometres for Gabriele Mini and for Promoter in their maiden Grand Prix Series race are about to kickstart their time at this level in the best way possible. Out of the final corner he comes, and it's a long run up the pit straight. Gabriele Mini is going to celebrate victory here in Road America. He wins the League 2 Road America Grand Prix. A second place finish for Yiafi, and Igor Fraga makes it to the podium for Ram. Jamie Chadwick just misses out on a top 3 finish for Iron Danes, but it's a great effort from her. Colton Herta got by Felix Rosenqvist to the line to make it back to 5th. Rosenqvist 6th, Pato Award 7th in the second ram, with Roman Grosjean 8th. Philip Salaquada on debut is 9th, and Mitch Evans bags a point for Opel on debut. Dorian Pan just misses out on points in 11th, with Steph Dusseldorp and Sho Suboy, the remaining drivers, to cross over the line. It's victory for Gabriele Mini and for Bimota in their maiden Grand Prix Series race. What a start for team manager Lucy Bassendale. Yiffy second for Prema. Then it's Igor Fraga in 3rd place. Jamie Chadwick on her return to the Grand Prix Series is in 4th place. Colton Herta recovering to 5th out of Felix Rosenqvist. Pato Award 7th. Roman Grosjean 8th. Philip Salaquada in 9th position for Sat Speed. And the final point going to Mitch Evans and Opel in 10th. Dorian Pan 11th, followed by Steph Dusseldorp, with Shosu by the last driver to take the checker flag in 13th place. Nick Cassidy, Scott McLaughlin and Dan Tictum all classified as finishers but retired before the end. Rio Hirakawa we lost with a puncher. He was in the lead before he retired. Mick Schumacher, Nick De Vries pulled out with an engine failure. Luke Browning out along with Ayumu Iwaza. Antonio Giovinazzi, Earl Bamber, Joseph Newgarden, Leo Fornaroli and Sebastian Ogier were the rest of those to not finish. The pole position and fast lap points going to Nick De Vries. But that victory went begging for Toyota. An incredible start to the season for Bimota in their maiden Grand Prix Series race. It's also the first win for Gabriele Mini, and it's also the first for team manager Lucy Bassendale. Could this be a sign of things to come this season, where they finally reach the Grand Prix Series summit? Simtech, commiserations, but there'll be more opportunities for them this season, I'm sure of that, and for Dan Ticton and for team manager James Knox. For Mike Gillespie, that first Grand Prix Series win as a team manager will have to wait a couple more weeks. It's time to run down on the League 2 drivers and teams championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
Well, what a race that was to begin Season 6 of the Grand Prix World Series. 3 drivers dropping out of the lead in that one. Nick De Vries, Rio Hirakawa and Dan Tictum all retiring while in the lead, handing an unexpected victory to Gabriele Mini, his first in the Grand Prix World Series, and a victory on debut for the Bimota KRT team as well. So a huge congratulations to the team and to Lucy Bassendale as well. That is their first victory as a manager in the Grand Prix World Series. As far as the championship standings go, well, it's as you would expect in the drivers. It's as you were at the flag. Gabriele Mini leads the championship on 25 points ahead of Ye Yifei on 18, Igor Fraga on 15, then Jamie Chadwick on 12, Colton Herta on 10, Felix Rosenqvist kicking off his title offence with a 6th place, and he has 8 points to the bank already. Pato Award 7th in a ram on 6 ahead of Roman Grosjean, Philippe Salaquada getting points on debut, and Nick De Vries, even though he didn't finish, he jumps Mitch Evans in the standings as a result of having the bonus points for pole position and fastest lap. As for the team standings, 9 teams scored points today. Bimota KRT at the head of the field on 25. Ram Racing got both of its cars into points and they sit second on 21 ahead of Prema on 18. Spiker in their first race are on 14 points in 4th ahead of Iron Dames on 12. 40 Quarter on 8, Zack Speed and Toyota on 2 each, and Opel taking that final point in 10th place. Mazda, Simtech, Chip Ganassi and M Sports not on the board yet, but they will have plenty more opportunities to do so in the next few rounds. So now we can head on over to League 1 and get the first race of this particular championship underway. But before we do that, we can head back to Tom Cairns once again, who will take you through all of the teams and drivers for this particular division. So Tom, take it away.
The League 1 grid is shaping up to be the most exciting field in the championship's history. The reigning League 2 Drivers' Champion, Shane van Gisbergen, is confident he can push on from last season's heroics. He's joined by 2-time race winner for Cupra Kiro, Nick Tandy. Team manager Sam Hull opts to go with Pascal Wehrlein as reserve. Ryan Ferris and Onyx start season 6 as the reigning team's champions. Kevin Estre aims to build on his 3 race wins for the team, while League 1 Marrakesh Grand Prix winner of Season 5, Philip Hansen, is tipped for more glory. Matteo Jaminet joins in the reserve role. It's all change at Arrows following Topher Smith's departure and champion Felix Rosenqvist moving on to 40. However, the most successful driver in the series history, Scott Dixon, joins his 4th different team. Brendan Hartley's great level of experience could guide Marcus Johansson's team towards more championships. Julian Anlauer switches from Zach Speed to be Arrows' reserve driver. Ewan Gale's Fonmetal made a huge step up in Season 5, remaining in the hunt in both championships until the end. The Welsh manager brings his League 2 Drivers' Champion of Season 3, Marcus Ericsson, back into the squad, where he'll be joined by debutant Yuki Tsunoda. Felipe Nasr last raced in Season 4, so there could be a race or two this campaign to still prove his worth. John Munro reverts HRT to their 2010 livery and have an underrated lineup of Alex Palou and Kyle Kirkwood. Jack Doohan has to settle in reserve. Minardi go with experience for Season 6. Kamui Kobayashi hasn't won in the Grand Prix Series since the Season 2 opener in Taupo. The League 2 Drivers' Champion of that campaign, Will Power, feels he still has what it takes. No race debut yet for James Collado, but it could all change in a short space of time. BAR have another new team manager at the helm. Matteo Vitelloni goes with Season 4 champion Sebastian Buemi and MotoGP legend Valentino Rossi. 2025 Formula 3 champion Rafael Camara remains upbeat in his reserve position. Force India could be one of the surprises for the upcoming season, with boss Ed Spencer retaining the services of Raffaele Marciello. League 1 Mugello Grand Prix winner Robin Freins lands the 2nd seat. Jack Aiken is back as the team's reserve driver. Prost have also got an experienced lineup. Antonio Felix da Costa has come close to the title on 3 occasions, but could this campaign be the key to championship glory? Jean-Luc Vergne is welcomed back to the French team following his spell at Force India. Jose Maria Lopez is demoted to reserve. Carlin survived their first campaign in League 1, and team manager Perry Brown will have to do his utmost to keep them there. Stoffel van Dorn and Kevin Magnussen are the chosen ones, while Christian Lundgaard brings some experience to the team. Cooper Kiro defied the odds in League 2 last season, finishing just 6 points off champions Ducati. Ed Hunter decides to keep hold of Bureau Run race victor Jamie Whincup. 2025 Formula E champion Oliver Rowland gets another chance to shine at the top flight. The American team's reserve driver is Formula 2 ace Alex Dunn. Mike Smith had risen his beloved Jaguar team to the top flight at the first time of asking. Incredible Finn Kalle Rovanperä is confident of picking up more wins, as is German Mats Gunter. Theo Pourchaire arrives as backup. Finally, Lancia were given a wildcard entry to League 1, despite finishing 5th in the League 2 Teams Championship. As part of his philosophy though, Chris Cavani has elected to go with a new driver pairing. 2024 European Le Mans Series champion Alessio Rivera and 2025 DTM champion Ayhan Guven stare at a new challenge in this thrilling series.
Thank you very much, Tom. So 13 teams all vying to become this season's League 1 champions, and 26 drivers looking to become the Drivers' Champion as well. But how will they line up for the first race of the season? Let's head to the qualifying results. And it is an all HRT front row. John Munro's team has locked out the front row of the grid with Alex Palou on pole ahead of Kyle Kirkwood, putting themselves in a very good position to challenge for victory today. Jamie Whincup, the winner of the last race of last season, he will start 3rd today. Cooper Kiro's first race in League 1 going well so far. Marcus Ericsson, a former champion, he will start 4th in the Fonmetal ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa, who starts his first race for Prost today. Nick Tandy moved over from Cooper Kiro to Ducati and he will start 6th today ahead of Sebastian Buemi in the BAR, Raffaele Marciello in the Force India, Oliver Rowland in the 2nd Cooper Kiro, and Shane van Gisbergen, the defending League 2 Drivers' Champion. He will start life back in League 1 in 10th place today. Jean-Eric Vergne returning to Prost for this season. He lines up 11th ahead of our newcomer Yuki Tsunoda, who starts his first race for Fonmetal today. Maximilian Gunter returns to the grid and will start 13th in the Jaguar, ahead of Philip Hansen in the Onyx. Valentino Rossi making his return to the series as well. A good job by him to be 15th in the BAR, ahead of the two Minardis of Will Power and Kamui Kobayashi. Scott Dixon, a two-time champion of the Grand Prix World Series, starts live for Arrows, 18th on the grid. Ahead of the two Lanciers of Alessio Rivera and Ahanchan Guven, they will start 19th and 20th today. And at the back, Kalle Rovanpera, Brendan Hartley, Robin Freins, Kevin Estra, and then the two Carlins of Stoffel Van Dorn and Kevin Magnussen propping up the field. Perry Brown not too happy to be locking out the back row of the grid, but the only way is forward, as they say, and he will look to get at least one of his cars into the points today. Well, we were treated to a fine race in League 2 and we're looking forward to more of the same here in League 1. Can HRT convert their front row lockouts into a win to start the season, or will they be challenged by those behind? Let's waste no more time, let's get this race underway. So Tom, let's head back to you in the commentary box.
It's League One's turn to take to the stage to find the next Grand Prix World Series champion. Alex Palou on pole with HRT teammate Kyle Kirkwood alongside. The five lights are coming on now. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go in Road America. Alex Palou getting off the line. Not quite so for Kyle Kirkwood. He got bogged down a little bit, and Jamie Whincup in the Cooper Heroes got ahead of him before they get to turn one. So it's Whincup into second place behind Alex Palou. Kyle Kirkwood down to third position, but he's coming back on the inside of the Australian. And you can just see Whincup just about holding on there on the exit of turn 3. So Palou leads, Whincup second. Kirkwood's in third place, DeCosta fourth in the Pros. Nick Tandy is in fifth place. And we've got Sebastian Buemi, Shane van Gisbergen, Marcus Ericsson, Rafael Marcello and Oliver Rowland inside the top 10. The field going through turn number 5. No dramas so far throughout the field. It's a long way to go yet over the course of these 36 laps. Now, Alex Palou has won in the Grand Prix Series before. That was in Season 4 when it was racing for Ram. And there goes Van Gisbergen nearly running into Antonio Felix DaCosta there. Nearly taking the pair of them out of the race. I don't think the words would have been... Oh, and he actually got hit by Rafael Marcello. So Marcello was the one that kick-started all of that. And there have been some words, I'd have thought, between the likes of Ed Spencer and Sam Hall. No further action is going to be taken. And Marcello is on the move here. As we continue on around infield and towards Canada corner. Palou is coming round the last corner now in the HRT. In the lead with Kyle Kirkwood second. It's Jamie Whincup who's in third place now. Off Van Don off the circuit in the Carlin. And he's only lost a few positions. He was at the back anyway. Behind him was the Jaguar of Kalle Rovanpera, who is aiming for success in League 1 this time after a monstrous spell at Lola at the back end of last season. Now, begin lap 2, and Whincup passes Kirkwood again for second place. Whincup through ahead of the HRT, and now he's in a HRT sandwich. Can he go after Alex Palou this time? Down on the setups throughout the League 1 field. Ducati, Onyx and Arrows have gone for maximum top speed. Formatel neutral. There goes Kirkwood passing Whincup again for second position. Formatel has gone for neutral. HRT mid top speed. Minardi maximum top speed. BAR mid top speed. Force India neutral. Prost maximum top speed. Carlin Cooper Hero have both gone for mid-top speed, Jaguar maximum top speed, and Lancia mid-top speed. Teams promoted from League 2, Ducati, Cooper Hero, Jaguar and Lancia all making the leap up. And there goes Whincup again on Kirkwood for second position. I wonder how many times you're going to see those two fighting it out. Well, I can say that Kirkwood's lost a little bit of ground on Kirkwood, and that has opened up the opportunity for Polo to move further clear. Buemi breaks his front wing in the BAR. At the penultimate turn, Sebastian Buemi runs wide. And it's going to be an early trip to the pit lane for him at the end of lap 2. At least he hasn't got far to go to get there. Into the pit lane comes the Swiss. Back in the front, we're looking at Nick Tandy attacking Kyle Kirkwood. He's through on the inside, and the Ducati's through into 3rd place. Tandy making the switch from Cooper Kiro, hired by Sam Hall, and Da Costa has made his way through past Kirkwood. It looks like he's slowing, actually. Yeah, he is. Kirkwood's slowing in the HRT. It's a terrible shame after a brilliant qualifying session, and he's one of the first drivers to retire because Kalle Rovanperä has also pulled out in the Jaguar. The puncture is the cause for Kirkwood. We didn't see Rovanperä pull to the side. His race is run as well. Palou leads the race then, with Whincup now the nearest challenger to him. Tandy 3rd, Da Costa in the Prost is in 4th place. Van Gisberg in 5th for Ducati. So we've got 2 Ducatis in the top 5. Rafael Marcello in the Force India is in 6th place. Max Gunter for Jaguar in their first League 1 race is in 7th place. We've got Marcus Ericsson in 8th, Oliver Rowland in 9th, and Philip Hansen in 7th place. You can just see in your picture. Right on board with Nick Tandy. He's got Antonio Fitz da Costa chasing him down. Rowland also heading through on Marcus Ericsson. Rowland gets past, and the Cooper Kiro is now up to 8th place. Ericsson is coming back on the inside. The two don't make contact, but Ericsson breaks his front wing by going off the circuit, and he nearly takes out another driver. That so nearly ended in tears for the Swede. The League 2 Drivers' Champion of Season 3, Marcus Ericsson, making his return to the Fonmetal team, with which he won his championship with. He was so fortunate he didn't collect another driver. And he's going to be in the pit lane at the end of this one. Hanshin Guven, one of the debutants in the field, running behind Valentino Rossi. He's running in 14th place as the Turkish driver. And now Guven is being passed by the arrows of Scott Dixon, which have a new team manager at the helm, Marcus Johansson, taking over from Topher Smith. Arrows are looking to retain their driver's cycle, but they won't be doing it with Felix Rosenqvist this season. The reigning teams champions of League 1 are Onyx. Nick Tandy is under attack from Da Costa on the pit straight, and Da Costa is going to go on by into 3rd position ahead of the Ducati. No problem there for the Portuguese. There goes Hansen on the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, who is making his maiden appearance in this series. Ericsson makes it back to the pit lane, rejoined down in last position. Through goes Hansen on Tsunoda for 9th. Right on board with Alex Palou. He's heading through the kink of Keckelbockens before arriving at Canada Corner. You see the margins coming up to 4 seconds. Marcello's struggling at the moment. He's been overtaken by Max Gunter. I wonder what issue Marcello is running here. It's not a good start to the season for Force India if he's struggling with some form of handling issue. He does make it back to the pit lane at least. It's a brake issue for the Swiss Italian. Jamie Whincup second behind Alex Palou. De Costa in third position. We've got Tandy and Van Gisbergen. And we look at Jean-Luc Verne, who has already been in the pits for repairs. He's going to have to make a second trip because the front wing has just disintegrated again. Here's Kevin Estra fighting with Hanshin Guven. Guven has made his way past into 13th. Whilst one Prost car is at the back of the field, another is running in third place. And Estra gets back through on Guven in 13th position. Three-time race winner Kevin Estra going for more glory in season 6. The other Lancer in the field, Alessio Rivera, who has Robin Friends for company. Friends, who raced for Arrows last season, is determined to make his way back towards the front. Now on lap number 7 is Palou, who continues to lead the way. There is Valentino Rossi on the attack with Will Power, who's back in the series after not competing at all in season 5, but that doesn't stop Rossi from going by and up into the points. Power, who's able to make his way back through again on the Italian. So the IndyCar champion 2022 passes the 7-time MotoGP champion Valentino Rossi. And out goes Yuki Tsunoda in his first Grand Prix Series race. Von Mattel's season has not got off to the best of starts, considering that Ericsson has already been in the pit lane for repairs. Now it's Tsunoda who pulls out with mechanical gremlins. And there's another car up in smoke as well. Robin Fines is sowing in the Force India. Four drivers out of the race so far. We've lost Fines, we've lost Tsunoda, we've lost Kirkwood, and we've lost Robin Power. Water leak is the cause of Fines' failure, so he's gone from this League 1 Road America Grand Prix. Palou's lead over Whincup has increased to 4.7 seconds. Dixon is overtaken by Hanshin Guven at turn number 5. Costa is doing his best to keep up with Whincup. He's left Tandy and Van Gisbergen for dead as Dixon overtakes Guven once more for 14th. He had hoped to be running a lot higher than where he's at. Scott Dixon. Costa coming around the last corner, chasing after second place man Jamie Whincup. Costa 8 times a race winner in this championship. Only Scott Dixon has more. Valentino Rossi's race is continuing to be on the rise. He has gone through into 9th place past Will Power. Where Rossi ended up in practice before qualifying had begun. He was down at the back in FP1, and in the second one he ended up in last position, but at least he remains within a second of the fastest driver at the end of it, which was Alex Palou. His qualifying was better than expected by his standards. He ended up in 15th spot on the grid. And then we look at Jean-Luc Verne down at the back in last position, 22nd to be exact. It's unlikely he's going to come away with any points. World Series' first ever champion. So we have to hope for better things throughout the season. 18 championship rounds we have, including this one. Da Costa has come close to winning the Grand Prix Series title on 3 occasions. With Super Aguirre, with Minardi, and with Von Mattel. For pit stop over at Jaguar, Max Gunter coming into the pit lane. He was running inside the points. Two Lances tussling for position, Guven and Rivera. Through goes Rivera on Guven at turn number 3. And that's the Italian going on by whilst the Turkish driver. Guven is coming back though, so he's not taking it lie down, and neither should he. Costa. He's got the gap down to less than 2 seconds on Whincup. There's Rivera still having a go at Guven. Kevin Magnussen in the Carlin is the next driver behind, along with Sebastian Buemi. Remember, he's already been in the pit lane for repairs. Da Costa pits in from 3rd place in the Prost. It's going to be important for him to get out into clean air here. I think that's going to be a little bit tricky for him to do so. Shane van Gisbergen is also in for Ducati. Valentino Rossi and Will Power are also heading for the pit lane. Kevin Magnussen has also ducked in. Brendan Hartley has also decided head for the pit lane. Hartley racing for Arrows this season. After his short spell with Ducati to help them to the team's championship and promotion. Van Dorn is not able to find a way past. Da Costa did rejoin ahead of the 2 Lancers. So let's just come back out with some clean air, which will help him in the long run. Alex Palou, 6 seconds ahead of Whincup now. And that's a blow up for Oliver Rowland in the Cupra Kiro. Not good news for team manager Ed Hunter. Unless Rowland is able to get his car back to the pit lane, but he won't do. He'll be pulling off at Canada Corner. That's another driver gone from this race. His teammate Whincup is in from second position, responding to Da Costa pitting in the lap before. The gap was less than 2 seconds before the pit cycle had started. Van Gisbergen is all over the back of the Lancia of Hunchen Guven. And the pit straight they come. And Whincup has been undercut by Da Costa. So Da Costa's gamble on pitting in the lap before has paid dividends. Da Costa is now up into a net second place. Now, is that the alarming message that Palou needs to remain in the lead, unless he's thinking about doing the one stop, which is unlikely considering the pace he's been setting so far in this. Gunther goes past Guven for 9th on the road. Gisbergen, the next driver behind Rivera. Now swabble over 7th place. Whincup is 1.5 seconds back from Da Costa in their fight. And the ball with Kamui Kobayashi in the Minardi. Kobayashi raced for 40 last season. Palou, race leader, comes in. And the HRT is aiming to rejoin ahead of Da Costa and Whincup. Through goes Gunther on the inside of Van Gisbergen, not hanging around. So Van Gisbergen's time being stuck behind the Lancia has cost him. Now Palou does rejoin ahead of Da Costa, and Whincup who are tussling over second place. Whincup on the inside of Da Costa, and the two very, very nearly made contact at turn number 1 and live to fight another day. Palou stays in the lead. It's Da Costa who's now up into second place ahead of Whincup, and Mats Gunther is in 4th position in the Jaguar. The undercut is very, very effective around this circuit, considering the length of the lap as well. If you get out in some clean air, there's every chance you can pass someone. You can definitely make up 3 to 4 seconds in one lap with no traffic. Willpower overtakes the Onyx of Philip Hansen for 12th position. Next behind Hansen is the Von Mattel of Marcus Ericsson. And Whincup has passed Da Costa. Whincup passes Da Costa for second place. Now, some may say that was coming, but Da Costa may have other ideas. Past the 1/3 mark in this race. It's Palou who leads, Whincup second, and Da Costa third. HRT leading Cooper Kiro, leading Prost, leading Jaguar, leading Ducati, leading Lancia, leading Force India, leading BAR, leading Lancia. I have to say, the teams that have gone up from League 2 last season are thriving in this race so far. That was Willpower overtaking Stoffel Van Dorn for 11th place. Van Dorn now under attack from Philip Hansen at the next braking zone of turn 3. No way through for the Brit. There goes Hansen. And there should be slam dunk here for the Onyx, and he's through past the Carlin. And there is Jamie Whincup, who had a torrid brief spell at Simtech in Season 2. Was given the chance by Ed Hunter following his Nations Cup heroics for Team Australia to race for the Cooper Kiro team at the second half, or just before the second half of the season had arrived. And he duly took his first win at the season finale at Buriram, which sealed Ed Hunter's team's promotion to League One. Now, the next task is to go for the ultimate prize. Let's play with a new fast up of the race of 136.8. Whincup and DaCosta aren't too far off him. It just takes one mistake for the whole thing to change. As Guven has got the Minardi of Willpower, who should be able to get a run on him this time around. Guven and Rivera have yet to come in for their first stops in the Grand Prix Series. Dixon is heading through on Stoffer Van Don on the pit straight. Through goes Power. Power goes by Guven for 10th position. Dixon goes too deep into turn 1. The car is heavily damaged. I'm amazed that he's able to keep going from there. What a messy start to Season 6 for Scott Dixon. The front wing and the rear wing is gone on the Onyx. He's got pretty much a whole lap to endure with that damage. And there is Rivera doing his utmost to keep his car on the circuit whilst running in 9th position. I will remind you, the bottom 3 teams in League 1 will go down to League 2 next season. Chris Cavani and Lancia hoping not to be one of them. DaCosta keeps the gap to run about a second between him and Whincup. But Prost will take a podium for sure. Something which they struggled to get last season. The only times they finished on the podium were in Marrakesh and Kyalami. There is a pass from Willpower on Alessio Rivera. It's Hansen who's the next driver within range to attack the Lancia. And Nick Tandy looks like he's got through on Max Gunter for 4th place. So he's got a long way to catch up to DaCosta. As Dixon makes it back to the pit lane, he could potentially end up being a lap down by the time he comes back out. Race to forget so far for Arrows. Won the Drivers' Championship last season with Felix Rosenquist. It's going to be a long season, that's for sure. DaCosta slides his way through the last corner, but he's able to survive that one. Hanshin Guven has Kevin Estra for company. It's Kamui Kobayashi who is the man waiting in the wings. And ice below. Lead. Doing the 2-stop, like most of the others will be. We see Estra and Kobayashi determined to go by the Lancia of Hanshin Guven. And then we see DaCosta keeping Whincup in his sights. There's plenty of overtaking going on there in the field. We look at Buemi overtaking Kevin Magnussen. Guven is about to be passed now by Kobayashi, so Guven is beginning to struggle. Whilst he's getting to the stage of the race where he will be needing to pit in, he's looking to do the 1-stop like Rivera is doing, and off goes Power, front wing broken on the Minardi, and he very, very nearly takes out Philip Hansen. That was a dangerous rejoin from Power, and I wonder if he'll get penalised for that, because that rejoin back onto the circuit had forced Hansen to take some form of evasive action. There he goes. That was a dangerous rejoin, I think, from Will Power, in my opinion at least anyway, but we'll hear from what race controls say on that. I mean, the damage is done to Power's car, but that's not all of what he's going to come away with. That unsafe rejoin is giving him a 5-second time penalty and a penalty point on his licence. Further back, there is the BAR of Sebastian Buemi. It's Kevin Magnussen for company once more. And there we see Dixon retiring from the race. His attempt of a third crown is going to get off to the worst start possible. And we've seen a pit stop now from Will Power, who had to come in for repairs. Gearbox failure is the cause for Dixon retiring. His old adversary, Antonio Felix is there, and Buemi is also out of the race in the BAR in his first appearance for the team. It's not the best of starts for the BAR team manager, Matteo Vitelloni. Hansen's got by Marcello for position. He's up into 8th place now. Here's the Brit. We are coming up to half race distance now, and Blow is looking ever so strong. Rekindling the days of what he had with Ram in Season 4. Started off the season nicely before it all fell away later on in the campaign. His previous win came in the second round of the championship in Buenos Aires. Continuing to lead the way, 6.5 seconds clear over second place Jamie Wincup. Our HRT on their way to the first win since Scott McLaughlin won back-to-back at La Plata and Indianapolis in Season 5. You can see Jean-Luc Verne will be battling with his first driver in this race, and it's Will Power who's going to buy him for position. Bearing in mind, Power will be on fresher tyres compared to Verne. As Verne is battling for the scraps at the back, Da Costa is aiming for a strong start to his new team. And Magnussen breaks his front wing. Not a good start to his time at Carlin for the Dane. His teammate is already at the back of the pack. Magnussen is shortly going to be joining him. Now Carlin survived in their first season in League One after winning the team's championship. I think there was a car coming into the pit lane at the same time. There's Magnussen. That was Marcus Ericsson. He was coming for his second pit stop at the race, I think it is. I mean, that looks premature that he's come in there, Marcus Ericsson. obviously Da Costa, who's now 3 seconds behind Jamie Whincup now. He's 8 seconds clear of Nick Tandy, who's 4 clear over his Ducati teammate Shane van Gisbergen. Mats Gunter continuing a strong race in 6th place for Jaguar. We've got Valentino Rossi in 7th position in the BAR. Now, Valentino Rossi hasn't raced in the Grand Prix Series since Season 3. That's when he was racing for Andrea Moda. Look at Kevin Estra, who's behind Rafael Marcello. Now, Valentino Rossi has scored points previously in the Grand Prix Series. That came in Season 2 when he was racing for Andrea Moda. Estra overtakes Marcello to go up into the points. Rossi scored points on his debut, an 8th place finish in round 4 of the championship in Yonggam, South Korea. Alessio Rivera has come in for his only stop of the race, which will promote Tronic Verne up into 15th place at least. Kobayashi passes Marcello 4 position. P11 is the award, or reward I should say, for the Japanese. Riding forward with Brendan Hartley, the only Arrows driver left in the race now, carrying all the hopes for Marcus Johansson's team. And Alex Palou is in for his final stop from the lead, which will allow Jamie Whincup to go up into the lead, and Antonio Fitz-DaCosta will go up into 2nd. Nick Tandy will go on by, Shane van Gisbergen will go on by, and so Palou will rejoin behind the Kiwi in 5th position. How far will Whincup and Da Costa decide to go? Estra in for Onyx. And Guven likewise for Lancia. They are both in. Lap 22. Da Costa is 4 seconds off Whincup in their fight for 2nd place effectively in this race. They're determined to get on with it and go by Van Gisbergen, but that's not the place to do it. Nick Tandy is a little further on ahead, almost running wide on the curb at the penultimate turn, but survives. Whincup is in from the lead, and Da Costa slows just as he took the lead, and Antonio Fitz-DaCosta slows in the Prost. The Portuguese is out of the League One Road America Grand Prix, and it's Nick Tandy who takes over leadership. At least Whincup won't have to worry about Da Costa now. It's unlikely that Prost will come away with any points either. Gearbox failure. Sidelines. Da Costa, unfortunately. And there is Whincup overtaking. Hansen getting on with it straight away. Is the Australian who pitted in the lap after Alex Palou. Will that give him a tyre advantage in the final stages? Vern pits in for Prost. He's got no chance of points from here, and neither is Kevin Magnussen. And then we look at Ericsson on the attack with Alessio Rivera. Swede overtakes the Italian to move up into 13th. Below is getting the gap down to Tandy. The gap is now 3.1 seconds. Now, with the nature of this course, you can gain so much time in the space of one lap. Max Gunther is in the pits for Jaguar, which allows Jamie Whincup to move up the order. Valentino Rossi run up in 3rd place for BAR, but he's expected to pit in for one last time before this race is over. Brendan Harley is also in for Arrows. What a job Valentino Rossi has done in this race so far. Chasing him down is Jamie Whincup, who's 3.5 seconds off him. Now it's important for Whincup to not be stuck behind Rossi if he's to go after Alex Palou for the win. Approaching the end of lap 24 is Tandy coming into the pit lane at the end of this lap. He is. And Palou had to summon the brakes a little bit to avoid running into him. Whincup will be all over the back of Rossi now as well. He's ahead of Rossi, and I think that's because Rossi is coming into the pit lane. So Tandy and Rossi are both in for their last stops. So it's a straight fight between Palou and Whincup. To believe, but I think Whincup's going to have too much to gain on Palou, even if he is on a set of tyres that have done one lap less than Palou. Tandy and Vengersbergen up into 3rd and 4th. Guns now in 5th place. Rossi rejoins in 6th position. Power 7th. Philip Hansen now 8th. He's down to 9th rather now. Is Hansenby's on the tail of Kevin Estra. Now I see one of the Menards coming out of the pit lane. That will have been Kamiri Kobayashi, I believe. Hansen has passed Estra on his outlap, and there we see Kobayashi, I believe, going through on the Force India and the Lancia at the same time on Marcello and Rivera. Very audacious there from Kamiri Kobayashi, but it's very typical of a driver like him to pull off a double overtake like that. Tandy 3rd in the race now, and Vern is going to compound Prost's misery here as he is the 2nd driver from the squad to pull out, and Prost starts the season is going to begin with a double retirement. It's a puncher this time for the Frenchman. He's only getting the gap down to 11.6. It's only like tiny bit. It's not really from Whincup, so it feels like he's going to be signing to a 2nd place finish, which will be happy. He'll be happy with that, will Whincup. So Some people may have tipped Cooper Kiro to go straight back down, but they mean business. With Whincup running in second place, Oliver Rowland already out of the race with his mechanical issues. That's Blow, meanwhile, who's never won in League One. Could be on his way to change just that. Kamui Kobayashi passes Marcus Ericsson for P11. His teammate Will Power is running up there in 7th place, having a strong return. And Palou is in the pit lane. Palou is back in the pit lane with some form of issue. It's a throttle problem for Alex Palou. And Jamie Whincup, who won in the last round of the previous season, might be able to take back-to-back wins. Palou rejoins in 4th place behind Shane van Gisbergen. Surely he's not going to have enough time to catch Jamie Whincup now. Even on a course like this. It wasn't too long since Tandy and van Gisbergen came into the pit lane either, so Palou's going to have it all to do to even finish in 2nd place. And off goes Marcello at turn 1. The Swiss-Italian had gone off the circuit. He caught the gravel, broke his front wing. And it gets worse for Ed Spencer's team. They will not be coming away here with any points. Damages the car even more, does Marcello. Just to remind you, Will Power has a time penalty of 5 seconds, which will see him drop to 10th place behind Estra. And the reason for his penalty was for the unsafe rejoin. When Philip Hansen was taking some form of evasive action as Palou is getting on with the job, passing the Ducati of Shane van Gisbergen at turn 1. Through goes the HRT. Nick Tandy is the next driver of which he'll need to pass, which he'll want to try and get by within the next lap or two. See how much he's closing in at the rate of knots that Palou is going at Nick Tandy here. He might be able to go past him at turn number 8. Oh, I can see why. I think Tandy's got an issue actually. That's not a genuine overtake. That's Tandy nursing an issue. Has he broken his front wing? He's broken his front wing as Tandy. Disaster for Sam Hall's team. And Alessio Rivera, looks like, oh, it's Kevin Estra, sorry. Estra has pulled off the circuit in the Onyx, and he is gone. I thought it was Alessio Rivera, but it's not. It's Kevin Estra. It's another puncher, actually, for Estra, unfortunately. But Nick Tandy will be in the pit lane for a new nose section. Will Power, who's been passed by Brendan Hartley, has now got Kamui Kobayashi on his tail. Van Gisbergen up into 3rd place again. Gunther now 4th. And Valentino Rossi up to 5th place, on course for his best Grand Prix Series result. Kobayashi is going on by Willpower. Tandy rejoins in 13th behind Hyunchun Guven. Laps remaining. Plo is not getting the gap down enough on Jamie Whincup. Still time for things to change in this race. And Ducati, well, Sam Hall will be a happy man to see his team return to the top flight. He was formerly Manor. It's effectively a new team from what it was from the beginning of last season. And Nick Tandy has overtaken Guven for position, almost in no time. And that's Jamie Whincup, who has got Rafael Marcello right behind. I don't know whether he's already lapped Marcello, whether Marcello's closing him down because he's on the fresher rubber. Started third on the grid. Plo started on pole. Shane van Gisbergen started from 10th on the grid up to 3rd place. And that's Tandy going by the other Lancia of Alessio Rivera. Marcus Ericsson is the next car for him to chase. There is Ericsson going by Willpower for what will be 9th position. Through goes Marcus Ericsson. Alex Plo, whose gap to Whincup is down to 15 seconds. The carousel corner, there is Max below on there's an engine blow up. Max Gunter's engine expired in the Jaguar. Horrible luck for Mike Smith. Robin Parrott had pulled out early on, and now Gunter is about to join him. The car is on fire, so will need to pull off. 6 laps away from the end as well. That's going to promote Philip Hansen, Brendan Hartley, Kamui Kobayashi, Marcus Ericsson, Willpower and Nick Tandy all up into the points. Tandy passes Power. Out goes Mats Gunter after a storming drive. He'll be back for more next time out in Aruba, that's for sure. And Willpower's lost another place to Alessio Rivera. Are Lancia going to get a point out of this in their first League One event? And they came up from League 2 despite finishing only 5th. But with Lola folding, along with Andretti, who were previously in League 1, they survived, but their team manager had left and no one else had picked up that team. So that's the reason why Lancia were given a last minute wildcard to advance into League 1. The gap between Whincup and Palou has come down to 11 seconds. I think Whincup may have been unlapped by Rafael Marcello because of it. Shouldn't be too much of a worry, I think, for Whincup. He has got 11 seconds in hand over Palou. Marcus Oakes, meanwhile, oh, that's Hartley breaking his front wing. That's over at turn 1. He's going to have to spend the whole lap with that front wing damage before pitting. More points are out of the window for Marcus Johansson's squad. You see Palou getting the gap down to Whincup. How much is he able to take out in sector 2 alone? Let's see. It's 10.8 on the time, and so at now 9.7. Over a second in sector 2 for Palou. I know it's a long sector compared to the other two, but it's still encouraging signs for Palou to go after Jamie Whincup and for the win. It's just as intense between Shane van Gisbergen and Valentino Rossi for third place. Are we going to see Valentino Rossi achieve a Grand Prix World Series podium? And there goes Kobayashi through on Hartley. He was carrying that damage. And Hartley will fall out of the points, which will promote Johan Guven up into 11th place, 10th position rather. Four laps remaining. The gap between Whincup and Palou is 8.3. And off goes Rossi! That's a bad spin from the Italian. That's over at turn number 6. Chasing Shane van Gisbergen, but he just dropped it. Did very well not to take any damage. Does he get back on the circuit safe and sound? He does so. It's a good job he had that gap over Philip Hansen, which will be his next focus. Don't make that same mistake again. That'll be what the BAR team boss will be saying to him. Whincup and Palou's gap is 6.9. Are Cooper Kiro going to come away with victory in their first League One race? 6.2 seconds with 3 laps to go. Palou has to take out just over a couple of seconds to even get to the gearbox. And Shane van Gisbergen is about to get Chikati on the board in Sam Hall's return to League One. And Rossi's out. Engine failure with 3 laps remaining, and BAR are going to come away with no points. A sorry sight for Matteo Vitelloni. That's heartbreak. That allows Kobayashi up into 5th place. Hansen now up to 4th. And Tandy's going to recover up to 6th position. He's still got time to go after Kamui Kobayashi, actually. Ericsson now 7th. Guven 8th. Rivera 9th. Power will keep hold of 10th position, even with the penalty he's got. Having said that, Hartley, on fresher tyres, has just got by Stoffel van Dorn 4th position. So Power's hold on 10th place may not be secure at the moment. Well, the gap between Whincup and Palou has come down to 4.5 seconds by sector 2. And we'll get an updated gap when they both go over the line. It's now 3.6. It's less than 4 seconds. Palou could still win this after all. It could even come down to a drag race over the line. Only 14 drivers left in this. Jamie Whincup, who claimed his maiden win at the season finale in the last campaign at Buriram. Palou's last victory came in Season 4 in Buenos Aires. Shane van Gisbergen, who tasted victory 5 times last season, is going to open his account in League One with a podium finish. Get Ducati's season up and running. You can just see Palou getting the gap down. It's less than 1.8. Just one more lap remaining. And there we see Will Power, who's running in 10th position. And Hartley now has got it within 5 seconds. So as it stands, Will Power is going to fall out of the points. This is it. 6.4 kilometres remaining in this League One Road America Grand Prix. Is it going to be Jamie Whincup or is it going to be Alex Palou coming away with victory? Incredibly, Palou is able to get the gap back after that third trip to the pit lane. How many fingernails has Cooper Kiro team manager Ed Hunter got left? Incredible stuff. It's still only the first round of the season. And we've been treated to a brilliant event here at Road America in its maiden appearance in the Grand Prix Series. And look at Palou right on the tail of Whincup coming out of the carousel. This could be where he makes his move. He won't want to do it at the kink, but he might go for it at Canada Corner. Jamie Whincup might just have done enough, and out goes Ayhancan Guven before he starts the last lap, and that hands effectively the final point to Will Power once they go over the line at the end of this. But it's a sorry end to Guven's race as he was running in the points. Is Palou going to snatch victory away from Jamie Whincup? It could be a drag race to the line. Out of the last corner they come. Here they go over the line. Who's going to take victory in the League One Road America Grand Prix? It's Jamie Whincup by 41 thousandths of a second. Jamie Whincup wins the League One Road America Grand Prix. Alex Palou finishes in second place for HRT. He'll feel that the victory should have been his. Shane van Gisbergen third for Ducati in their first League One race. A fine return to the top flight for Sam Hall. Philip Hansen fourth for Onyx in his first race for the team, with Nick Tandy recovering to 5th place. So both Ducatis making it into the top 5. Kumu Kobayashi 6th for Minardi. Marcus Ericsson in 7th form for Mattel. A good effort from him. And it's going to be a potential drag race line between Alessio Rivera and Brendan Hartley. Can Hartley take it away from Rivera? It's Rivera who holds on to 8th place ahead of Hartley. It was even closer than the Whincup Palou fight. It was 300ths that time around. Will Power's time penalty does not affect his race finishing position, so he keeps hold of the final point. Stoffel Van Don, Kevin Magnussen and Rafael Marcello are the rest of those to finish. It's victory for Jamie Whincup and for Cooper Kiro. What a result for Ed Hunter. Cooper Kiro enter League One in the best way possible. Alex Palou second ahead of Shane van Gisbergen. Philip Hansen fourth ahead of Nick Tandy. With Kumu Kobayashi 6th. Marcus Ericsson 7th. Alessio Rivera finishing 8th on debut ahead of Brendan Hartley in 9th. And Will Power, even with the penalty, keeps hold of the final point in 10th. Stoffel Van Don 11th, followed by Kevin Magnussen, with Rafael Marcello the rest of the last driver to take the checkered flag. Ayhancan Guven and Valentino Rossi pulled out towards the end, but they are classified as finishers. Unlike Max Gunther, Kevin Estra, John Oakfern Antonio Felix da Costa, who was running towards the front before retiring. We also lost Sebastian Buemi, Scott Dixon out, and Oliver Rowland, Robin Fiennes, Yuki Tsunoda, Kyle Kirkwood and Kelly Rovanpera with the rest of those to not finish. The pole position and fast lap points going to Alex Palou. A nail-biting finish to the opening round of Season 6 of the Grand Prix Series. It is Jamie Whincup who takes back-to-back wins, and Cooper Kiro get their League 1 adventure up and running, and Ed Hudson, the team manager of the squad, will be a very, very happy man. Alex Palou will feel that victory got away from him, but pole position and fast lap to go with his second place finish will do him no harm whatsoever. It's time to run down on the League 1 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the next round in Aruba in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
The closest finish ever in the Grand Prix World Series. 0.041 separates Jamie Whincup and Alex Palou at the flag. Just one more lap would have given Alex Palou the win, but he's had to settle for second place in what was an enthralling race here in Road America. A fantastic event to start off the season, but let's have a quick look at the drivers and team standings for League 1 after that race. Jamie Whincup as the winner takes the lead in the championship, 25 points for the Australian, ahead of Alex Palou, who took second place and the 2 bonus points for pole position and the fastest lap. Shane van Gisbergen kicks off his title defence with a podium, 15 points for the New Zealander, and I'm sure he and team manager Sam Hall will be rather happy with that. Philip Hansen 4th in the Onyx on 12 ahead of Nick Tandy, both Ducatis in the top 5. Kamui Kobayashi for Minardi on 8 ahead of Marcus Ericsson on 6, Alessio Rivera on 4, Brendan Hartley on 2, and Will Power kicking off his returning campaign with a single point in 10th. As for the team standings, Cooper Kiro and Ducati equal on 25 each, but Cooper Kiro with the race win ahead on countback. HRT 20 points for them in 3rd ahead of Onyx on 12, Minardi on 9, Formitel on 6, Lancia on 4 and Arrows on 2. And we're still awaiting points for Carlin, Force India, BAR, Jaguar and Prost, but they will get many more opportunities to get on the scoreboard this season. So, 2 fantastic races to kick off proceedings in Season 6 of the Grand Prix World Series. And if that was anything to go by, we are in for an enthralling season for the remaining 17 rounds. Next time will be the Caribbean Grand Prix from the Aruba Motorsports Complex, and we can't wait to bring you that one. But until then, thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the Grand Prix World Series and the Retro Racing Managers League, welcome. It's a pleasure to have your company, and we hope you join us for the next one. Until then, I'm Topher Smith. Take care.